Sri Yoga that
एक मिनिट तुम्ही
introduced
परत
to
सुरू
the
करता, तुमचा आवाज
अरे,
ब्रेक होतोय रे.
by various persons
अगं रेखा,
रेखाताई तुमचा आवाज
like
ब्रेक होतोय.
Praveen Khatal. So I will just tell about my own experience.
तुमचा आवाज ब्रेक होतोय. परत रेखा
आवाज
सायली,
ब्रेक होतोय.
हा तू आला, आवाज ब्रेक होतो. जवळ ये,
परत सुरू करा प्लीज.
परत सुरू कर पहिल्यापासून आणि जवळ ये. हे जा. या राईट राईट.
Honored Shekhar Mayanil ji has given so many sessions on BMM as well as Sri Yoga that he has been introduced to the whole audience by various persons like Praveen Khatal. So I will just tell about my own experience with him. I have been fortunate to meet him in person recently. First time I met him was in June on Sri Yoga Day at SSVT. Early in the morning, he arrived at SSVT, Shekharji. He embraced Srikant and then came to me with his open arms and embraced me. He said, "You are the pillar of Sri Yoga." It was so surprising and uplifting at once. After that, in the same visit to Maryland, I got to see him. I got a chance to attend his meditation in person. Thanks to Mehraj for hosting him. I realized that he was very good, and at the group photo time, I embraced him and asked him if he could visit our home for a few minutes. He welcomed by saying it was $1 million deal. Once again, I felt so welcomed. He did visit, and at our home, he first went to the altar and did namaste, and then we went downstairs from where Srikant gives his Zoom classes. He saw that and he bowed down before both of us and touched our feet. He said he is grateful and appreciates so much that he gets a chance to meet so many people at once. The next time was the climax. It was September Sri Yoga Day. After all program was over, I was returning to the parking lot with our son Chetan. On the way, I saw him busy talking to someone, Shekharji. I looked and waved my hand at him. He immediately turned to us and came and touched my feet in such a big crowd of Yoga Day. I wondered why that was. Thus, every interaction with him was inspiring, friendly, and full of gratitude. Not just he has written the Gravity of Gratitude book, he is actually embodiment of gratitude. That's how I feel. Who could be more appropriate to talk about gratitude on Thanksgiving weekend? That is my short introduction to Shekharji.
ओके, थँक्यू रेखा, इतकी सुंदर इंट्रोडक्शन करून दिली. आय मीन, आता मी काय त्यांच्याबद्दल सांगणार होते ते सगळं तू सांगून टाकलंस. सो आता आपण जास्त न वेळ घेता थोडं मेडिटेशन एवढ्या करता करायचं की आपलं मन सगळीकडे सैरभर झालेलं असतं. सध्या थँक्स गिव्हिंग आता होऊन गेलेलं आहे. तर जस्ट टू ब्रिंग mind in a quiet place so that we can focus more on what Dr. Mayanil has to say. So sit as comfortably as you can. Ground yourself firmly. Eyes open or closed. Take a deep in breath and very slow out breath. Let go all the to-do list. Let go the worries. Allowing body to relax and mind alert. Take one more in breath and slow out breath. Let go. Let go. Let go. We just had Thanksgiving and the gratitude of being with our friends and relatives. It is lingering in our mind still. Today, on behalf of our meditation and self-care group, I want to express our gratitude to all of you, our spiritual family, for being here on Sundays. Your presence, participation, and appreciation provide us tremendous energy and joy. I would like to use this African word Ubuntu. Ubuntu is I am because you are. I exist because all of you are here for us. That's why we exist. Thank you. Now, quickly, let's together express gratitude for our birth mother, India, providing us education and spiritual strength so we could shine everywhere we go. Our gratitude goes to the adoptive mother, United States, for providing us resources to prosper. As we are enjoying life, we are sensing some sadness as some people are suffering tremendously due to war. Our heart goes out to them. Let us take them in our prayers. With kindness and generosity of spirit, let us pray that the dark clouds from their lives be lifted soon. May they be healthy and happy. May they live with ease. May we all be healthy and happy and live with ease. May all living beings in this world be healthy, happy, and live with ease. Thank you. my gratitude to the speaker and all of
You can share your slides.
Yes. So are you recording?
Yes, we are recording.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank Rekha Tai for such a generous introduction. She is so sweet. You have to interact with her to know what a person she is. Such a sweet person. I never seen anybody like that. She's just sweetness, not just sweet person, sweetness. That which makes everything sweet. And I thank Anaga Tai too very much. She had called me just a couple of days back, and we had she thought probably she will talk for 2 minutes, but we ended up talking for half an hour or even more, I would say. So anyway, Shrikant Kaka, it's just awesome. Thank you so much, Shrikantji. And I bow down to Lord Ganesha before I start anything. And I would chant a small prayer. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vitvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. So today we are going to discuss the gratitude, the yogic neuroscience understanding of it. Gratitude, as we know, we thank people, we are grateful to people, but gratitude is something deeper than that, and that is exactly what this yogic neuroscience understanding, or the depth we are trying to delve into today. So how did I get interested in gratitude? That is a question. Long time ago, when I was in Bharat, I was in National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences as a lecturer in Department of Psychopharmacology, where I was to teach depression, anxiety, bipolar, schizophrenia, all those things, because my PhD was in the mechanism of depression. So that is exactly how I landed up there. However, uh, my parents were with me at that time, and it was my mother always loves to go to temples, especially South Indian temple. I was raised in North India, so my father always used to take my mother to the temples everywhere, but he would never go inside. He would stand outside and probably guard the shoes and things like that. That's because in North India, you can say things can you the shoes and everything can go missing. When you come back, he won't be there. So I thought probably my father is just standing outside guarding the shoes, and my mother used to go inside the temple, get the prasad, and we would go home. But in Karnataka, in South India, that is not a case. That is not the case. They have shoes, racks, and everything else, and there is nothing to worry about theft of the shoes and things like that. So you can go into. And my mother used to love going to Southern Indian temples, so beautiful and so peaceful and things like that. So, but still, my father was standing outside. I was wondering why he was standing outside now. Anyway, I asked him this time that why you don't go inside the temple. And he said, your mother has been asking me, coaxing me for with the same question for a long time. But let me tell you both of you. So he said, okay, go call your mother and I'll tell both of you. So he asked my mother as to why do you go inside? So as is the same mother thing that she replied, she said that just to ask God for your health and for your um, for Shekhar's better job. At that time, the job was on the rocks, like kind of. I was more interested in research, and they were putting me into teaching and less research or no research at all. So those kind of thing was going on. So I used to come home not too happy. So my mother saw that I was not very happy that time. So she said, I just for um, uh, his happiness and everything else, like everything should be good. So I just go and ask for those things. And she says, chant few prayers in Sanskrit, and that's about come back. She said, that's exactly why I don't go inside the temple, because I might end up asking. Just there are just people, hundreds of people just like you, how going and asking everybody there, asking the Lord. And I'm afraid that I'm not done thanking for my own breath right now. For every moment I thank my breath. Thank you. He said thank. When I inhale, I say thank. When I exhale, I say you. I am busy doing that. I have no time for anything else. How can I go and ask when I have not even done thanking my breath? So this was, and my mother thought he was an atheist or probably communist who would not interested. But that is a totally different, new understanding about my father. That day, we learned a lot about how he thinks, and he says, I think I will die a most ungrateful person because I have not been able to thank God for you, for Shekhar, for the trees, for the rabbit, for the roads, for the house, for the electricity, for the everything. I have not been able to say thank you for any of that because every moment goes in thanking my breath. This is all I can do. And he started to like wet his eyes. I'm almost in tears. He said, God, please forgive me that I will not be able to thank you for everything that you have given me. You have given me so much in plenty, so much that it defies description as to how I will be able to thank you. That the kind of gratitude he showed every moment. He was quiet all the time, except if you ask him questions and he would answer very tacitly, very short answers and nothing more than that. But he was busy thanking his breath every moment. And I learned something very fundamental. One day I had asked him, he said, Dad, I have never seen you ever sick. Never, ever, ever sick. You have not taken a single medicine so far. You have not gone to a doctor. You don't have headache. You don't have toothache. You don't have anything. Why is that so? Is it because of this thank you protocol? He said, that's up to you to find out. So I took my whole lifetime to find out what is that, what he does. Why is he like this? Why is he all the time happy and no disease catches him, can come close to him? The entire area he would be having some pandemic or epidemic, but he would be just like that. No, nothing touches him. So I wanted to understand what is that which gets him going. So that is my initiation into gratitude. So my dad once said the root cause of all problems, be it health related, relationship related, career related, that the career, when he says career related, he was emphatic at that because I was having a challenge career related situation. Career related or money related can be traced back only to one cause, that is lack of gratitude for what you already have been blessed with. And it stayed with me. This whole thing stayed with me so much. He said, anywhere, anytime you find life challenging, no matter what it is, if you have relationship with your wife problem, if you have relationship with a friend problem or with your boss or with anybody, trace back to this is the lack of gratitude. You are not showing gratitude yet enough. And once there was a time when I was in Canada for a year, and uh, in the Gravity of Gratitude book, I have mentioned about several things, but I'll just show you one example. When I was in Canada, there was only 1 year of my visa, and I had to somehow figure out a way to come here into United States, and I was like heartbroken that time. So he said, have you said, thank you so much, Lord, thank you so much. Have you said that? I said, for what? For this life that I am having, I have no money, I have no visa, no nothing. What is going to, what? I said, are you breathing? He said, of course I'm breathing. I said, thank that breath, please. So he said, okay, let me guide you. On the phone, he guided me 7 times to say thank you, and deep inhalation, hold for 7 seconds, and then exhale, hold for 7 seconds, inhale, hold for 7. He did the 7 cycle, and I said, now what is the problem? Tell me. I said, what problem? So I just completely, he annihilated the very thing that was causing anxiety in my life. So what he was trying to do was, he was shifting my fear, panic mode into a very gratitude mode, where everything is fine. With that mindset, if you think, I said, now you think properly, now you apply properly. In panic mode, if you apply, you'll never get anything, because that panic gets translated into your application, and the people flush your files right away. They don't want to discuss with you. You communicate your lack of gratitude wherever you go, and they will never, ever hire you. So first start with gratitude, and then everything will come in place. So that's how it was. So he was actually, if you look at the right side of the slide, where I have put everything in the red, these are low frequency energy levels, very, very low frequencies. Powerlessness, fear, grief, depression, despair. This is exactly where I was. And he pushed me directly here into the highest frequency, high energy mode. The gratitude, the energy of gratitude is as or equivalent to the consciousness. The energy of consciousness is this much here. You have to bypass all this in order to, gratitude just does that. Now, if you're powerless and for some reason you get angry, obviously anger is better than powerlessness and grief and despair and depression and suicidal tendency. But you should not stay there. Sometimes you can doubt. Doubt is a better energy than depression. Boredom is even better than depression. But when you are contented, hopeful, and your positive expectation, enthusiastic, and you feel love and appreciation and passion and gratitude, that is the thing that this, when you do anything at this level, it happens. Because who makes it happen? It is a consciousness that makes it happen. This consciousness is unmanifest energy, and you want to manifest something. This is the closest resonance that one can experience. So that is exactly what my father was trying to drive into. So he's now, if any one of us is not, this is I'm just telling my own story, that if I am not feeling any of the green feelings, means this, which means these ones, then, or I'm not feeling fulfilled, or I'm feeling unfulfilled completely, right? Then he said that thank more and more for what you already have in your life. Now, when you are in a complaining, criticizing, and condemning mode, you normally do not see what you have in life already, right? So what you already have, don't think about the stuff. You have a breath, right? You're breathing, thank that. That is, I was told last time, I was asked by somebody, I do not feel gratitude. How do you go about feeling gratitude for things? Now, that is exactly I was once. I could not feel gratitude for anything. I was complaining, constantly complaining, criticizing, and condemning mode. If I am in, then obviously I'll never feel gratitude for anything. Oh, what is this? Oh, thank for the cup you're holding. Oh, so what? We big deal. Everybody has a cup. That type of attitude I had. bad attitude. So my dad said, thank for the breath. Can you live without breath? 1 minute, just 1 minute, live without breath, and you'll know what that means. And in COVID times, we knew that what breath can do. One small breath, was people were running helter skelter to get an oxygen cylinder, which was not in supply those days. So can you understand the value of that breath? So that value of the breath, my father taught me. And he said, once you're done thanking for that breath, thank more, even more. And then you will feel you will be in a mind state or mindset with of total gratitude pouring inside you. And what does that gratitude do to the body chemistry, the neuroscience behind it, and the entire physiology changes just because of being thankful. And in that physiology, everything, when you meet people, you have a very different demeanor. Your energy transmits to them, and they get soaked into. They don't know why are they happy after meeting you. They just are happy. Say, my God, I don't know what is that fellow. If he is in the room, you feel very happy. What, I don't know what he is all about. This is what it is all about. You keep thanking for the breath all the time. My father was like a magnet for human beings in the planet. I mean, everywhere, everybody comes to just sit next to him and doesn't do anything. He doesn't talk to anybody, and he's just, people are happy and they go away. This is what he was. So anyway, I just wanted to show you what happens when you are in the red zone, the complaining mode, the fear, flight, fight, run, all that thing. What happens is stress, that is purely because of stress, right? Whenever you are in deep stress, there is a region in the brain called hypothalamus, which releases corticotrophin releasing hormone, which interacts with the pituitary, which the pituitary releases another adrenocorticotrophic hormones. Don't worry about the details of this. I am just telling you what causes panic mode, fear, fight, flight. It is the cortisol release in our body. Now, cortisol is a good thing to start because it is a life affirmative thing to start off. But if it is constantly released, then you are in deep trouble. And that causes tremendous inflammation and panic mode. This is exactly what happens. So whenever you are in stress and fear mode or low energy frequency emotion, that causes increase in the cortisol. Now that causes you fight and flight. This is good because this is the life-saving device that the nature instilled in us when we were growing in evolutionary ladder. So this was very important because we have to save ourselves, right? So that was still existing. But now that's not the case. So if we continue be in stress and in fear, which means we have not grown yet. We are not growing as a human being. As a species, we are not growing if we constantly on this state. So how during the old times, people used to run to expend the energy that the cortisol causes to release, right? Cortisol causes a lot of energy release in our system, but that energy needs to be expended. And if it is not expended, it can cause counter effects, right? Wrong effects. But people right now are sitting on the computer and they are experiencing stress from workplace for jobs, all every other relationship area, all the stress coming from different areas coming, but they are not running. They are sitting at the table in front of the computer, but they are not expending that energy. So that energy is used against us. So how it is used against us is causes impairment of immune system, which in effect causes inflammation, and inflammation is the cause for all the digestive diseases, cardiac disorders, autoimmune dysfunction, neurodegenerative disorders, metabolic disorders, neuropsychiatric disorders, anxiety, depression. This is the place where I did the PhD with, and I understood what my dad was telling me, but I could not relate how we can get out of this fear, stress. And he made me experience how you can get out just by conscious breathing, and that is exactly what the biggest blessing I had. Now, any malfunction in the pituitary, this is the pituitary HPA axis, hypothalamus, pituitary and adrenal. This is called HPA axis. Okay. So if there is any malfunction means if there is this feedback regulation is not going to work, if it is not working for some reason, or if this is not working, this feedback is not working. Why is feedback not working? Because there's so much cholesterol that it keeps there forever. It initially starts with that, but now it cannot shut itself off, right? Cortisol, if it is at a particular critical threshold level, it can cause a negative feedback and stop the pituitary from releasing adrenocorticotrophic hormone. And then again, excess a threshold cortisol can stop hypothalamus from releasing corticotropin releasing hormone. But if it is too much, it goes on high level. Every 2 minutes you are impinging your system with releasing of the cholesterol, cortisol. Then what happens? This system shuts off, and then this kind of thing happens. People go to alcohol. Oh, let me go and take some this thing. Irritable bowel syndrome is purely because of the fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, burnout. This is what is happening in college level these days. And I'm reaching out to people in college level, including when I teach here in some community college. I encourage people to do the deep breathing so that they can get out of this. This is a brain frying mechanism. Once you are into this, it is a negative spiral. You cannot get out of it. So hence, conscious breathing with Ujjayi is extremely important. So this is what I was telling you. And this is the protocol I teach people. The thank you protocol, it is in that book. What you do is you sit straight the same way Anagata just did a small meditation session for us. That's exactly how you do. But when you're doing the deep breathing in, you take as much breath as possible and mentally say thank. Or dhanyavad, dhanya. Can you say dhanya in your mind? If you are not speaking English, that's fine. Can you say dhanyavad? If you are saying shukriya, then say shukriya. That's okay, whichever way. But you have to thank your breath, because that is how you are living. Otherwise, if the breath is not there, then you are not living, right? So say thank. This is what my father taught me. When you breathe in, say thank, and by using constricting your throat a little bit, just like in Ujjayi pranayam you do. All the yogasans, my father said, all the yogasans and or pranayam should be done in Ujjayi all the time. Whenever you are in a pranayam or a yogasan, doing yogasan, normal breathing should not be done. Normal breathing should be done whenever you are doing your daily routine activities. But whenever you're doing the pranayam or yogasan, Ujjayi breathing gives the highest output immediately, instant output, very, very high output. So breathe in like this, hold for a count of 7, and then exhale, either through your mouth or through your nose. And then again hold for 7 seconds. So this is one cycle, and you practice 7 cycles like this, and suddenly you will see a shift in your own the whole mindset, the physiology, heart rate immediately drops down. Anybody who is wearing an Apple Watch right now can test it out. Before the thing and after the thing, you will see a 10. My resting heart rate is 48 because of this. I can increase it to 130 in any time, and I can get it back to 48, 72 when I'm generally doing the stuff. And when I'm sitting quietly, I can get it to 48. Now, breathing is the only involuntary process in our body which can be it is the only involuntary process in our body that can be controlled voluntarily. You cannot control heartbeat voluntarily. You cannot control digestion voluntarily. You cannot control your immune system voluntarily, but you can control your breath voluntarily. So breath is the only way in. In order to experience changes in our physiology, the breath is the only way in. So breath, if you standardize breath, I was in Prayagraj as growing up, and I had the honor and the most distinct privilege to meet Devra Baba. Devra Baba is one of the realized master who yogi. He is a yogi of the caliber of Shivji. That kind of, he had lived, I don't know how, 700 years, 800 years, and he was still doing. He said one thing. Some people say, what is your secret? He says, breathing. I say, how? I can hold my breath longer than many people. And I did not understand. Now I am understanding what he was saying that time. The thank you protocol has two components, as I told you. Gratitude component, thank you. And then the rhythmic breathing component, the breathing, when you say breathe in, it is paying attention to the breath, right? And then you say, when you're saying thank you, that is another added component to it. Normally in pranayam, we do this only, right? But this thank you protocol, which my dad standardized and gave it to me as a blessing, he said there is an added component to it, a gratitude component also. Thank you component is so important. And I wanted to understand the neuroscience of both. And then obviously there is another component which when you standardize these two and spend a lot of time doing it, like you sit there, you can peep into the consciousness space in deep meditation. When you're doing the thank you breathing, this protocol, rhythmic breathing and thank you, after some time you will forget about the breathing and forget about the gratitude. Both will go in. You'll have zero awareness of those things, but you will have a deeper awareness of a consciousness space. And this is exactly what in chapter 9 I have discussed. On page 146 of the book, you will see that this process got me into a zone, and I would sit there 16 hours without blinking, without even getting up. In one place, I just sit there 16 hours. Initially, I started off with 4 hours, 4 hours, 4 hours, 21 days in a row. It took me 9 years to do that. But gradually, I understood the importance of this. I said, I want to peep into the consciousness space. So I did. Of course, it took me a while. But in the chapter 9, I described what caused that thing to happen. And then I just gave up the desire to be in the consciousness space to see. And that's exactly what happened. And it's amazing. When you standardize these two components and sit there for a while, not 45 minutes, not 10 minutes, not 15 minutes, extended time, you will get that what I'm talking about. So let's talk about the gratitude component. The gratitude component is giving, forgiving, and loving and compassion. That is exactly. So being thankful for whatever you have, the most important thing you have is a breath. Then the rest comes. The thumb is there. I could not thank my thumb still. I've been trying to do it for the last 1.5 years. I have not been able to thank my thumb yet. So for the things that it does, it's unbelievable, unbelievable. So you suddenly, immediately experience a shift from sympathetic. Sympathetic means fight, flight, all that type of thing. Parasympathetic is very calm. Absolutely. How the neuroscience is working in that is, I will show you little later. I have few new slides which from that experience of 16 hours thing. What exactly it does, I have that couple of slides in that. So this is the sympathetic mode where pupil dilated are there very heavily. Here is the thankful mode. This is parasympathetic mode. And so this is exactly, you are in a very calm mode at that time. So gratitude and giving is supported. So the ventromedial prefrontal cortex is the key to supporting gratitude and giving. So this I am not giving you the original picture of this because that is a copyrighted, but other one I am going to share with you. This area is, they mapped it in functional MRI studies. Functional MRI study, bold. say, which means blood oxygenation dependent signals, right? BOL. So that is the uh, they study where the blood excess oxygenation. So even though we think that the blood has all the oxygen in it and it carried by the RBC, but the moment you pay attention to thankfulness, suddenly this area lights up in the brain. So this is the ventrally looking, and this is your sideways looking brain. So this ventromedial prefrontal cortex is activated by thankfulness. And I just wanted to share with you some regions of the area, which this particular region, especially between the red and front area. The orbitofrontal cortex, ventromedial and dorsomedial, and this is dorsolateral. And so this prefrontal cortex is divided into different zones. So this is exactly what I have. So this particular area, they call it prefrontal cortex. The bold, the signal gets, oxygen signal starts to appear here and very strongly. So this is what it is all about. Say, for instance, fMRI bold signal is very powerful. Let's say if you're sitting right now and you just think about, I want to jog today. I want to jog after this thing. And you know what? The signal that this FRI machine will pick up is oxygen running into your muscles, thigh muscles and calf muscles right away. The very thought itself creates that. The same thing is when you do Shambhavi Mahamudra, the entire oxygen comes into the prefrontal cortex. The whole body's oxygen comes there. And once the oxygen comes there, but it does not, if oxygen comes there, not the blood pressure, remember that. Not the blood. It's not the blood pressure that goes there. It is oxygen goes there, which means more RBC having overpopulated oxygen will reach that, and that's how those area gets nourished, and they start to form neurons. New neurogenesis starts to happen, and they make functional connections, and that is the growth area of prefrontal cortex. That is what Shambhavi Mahamudra is so important. So this is the data from Glenn Fox, who happens to be one of my very good friends. He works in California. He said, Shekhar, you can take all my slides, no problem. So he allowed to give some of his slides to me, and I said, okay, I'll take that. So what happens is, whenever gratitude rewards our brain. See, we think we are doing a great job for uh, by saying gratitude to others. Thank you for it. Does more good to us directly. And gratitude rewards our brain and body. How does it reward our brain and body? Because when prefrontal cortex is activated, it has a different signal mechanism which controls the dopamine, oxytocin, endorphin release. This is exactly what the feel-good neurochemicals and hormones are all about, which boosts our energy. When you feel happy, when somebody thanks you, don't you feel a sudden elevation in your energy, sudden elevation from your stomach on? You say, oh my goodness, I feel good. And if you criticize somebody, you feel low energy, right? Even including the one who is criticizing. So the one who is criticized and the one who is criticizing, both will feel low energy. So this is the medial prefrontal cortex activity that is shown in the fMRI data, bold signals, the same thing here. And Christina Kahns also is one of my very good friends who allowed me to share her slides. So the deep in the front part of the brain, there is a ventromedial prefrontal cortex, the one which I showed you last time, right? Like this particular slide, ventromedial prefrontal cortex, this one. So that gets activated too. So these are the dopaminergic neurons. These two areas are the one which release the dopamine. Dopamine is very, very important neurotransmitter. So from ventral tegmental area and substantia nigra, these are the origin for dopamine fibers coming out from here. And it bathes the entire prefrontal cortex, dorsolateral cortex, all the brain. It bathes the entire brain with dopamine. And when that happens, you are in bliss. This is exactly the blissful area that oxytocin, it affects the pituitary, which releases oxytocin that is produced in hypothalamus and stored in the pituitary. So this is how it is. So I'll just share with you what exactly ventral tegmental area has dopamine released made first to the basal forebrain as well as the ventral prefrontal cortex, which means at the point between the eyebrows, right? This is the place where between the point between the eyebrows. And of course, it has a mesolimbic activation pathway. And this particular pathway is actually more uh, important in Parkinson's and schizophrenia and all that. So these are the midbrain uh, uh, regions that control the amygdala. Amygdala is another place where whenever you are threatened, deeply threatened, this whole thing is hijacked and everything comes up into amygdala, and all the logical signal, or whatever the logic that for this the cortex, the prefrontal cortex does to you, it is completely shut off and you go into fight flight mode, because it gets hijacked, right? The amygdala, they call it amygdala hijack. So anyway, this is another area that now what happens is middle frontal gyri. Now the gyri of sulci. So this is gyri. So you see the brain folded up in a way like a mountain is folded up left, and so there is a valley and there is a trough and there is a crest and there is all that stuff, right? So this particular gyri is associated with forgiveness. So and gratitude centers activate this center. This gratitude center over here activate this center also, some middle frontal. So and it has been shown clinically, large middle frontal gyri volume was significantly associated with forgiveness. Anybody who has that forgiveness attitude and attitude of gratitude automatically strengthens the forgiveness, let go and all that stuff. So in addition to that, gratitude also encourages love and compassion automatically. And this is the reason I was so impressed with the concept of gratitude, that I wanted to know where the center is. The gratitude center is the Manipura chakra, basically. So whenever you feel happy, whenever you feel contented, if you watch a small baby, like 6-7 months old, if he has the loni and pani and the milk and diaper clean, everything, he's so happy. Why? Because he's uh, he's satisfied, right? His stomach is full. The stomach full means Manipura chakra, once it is activated, it can activate the forgiveness. Now, which is the forgiveness center in our physiology? The lower chakra, the lowermost chakra, the what is that? So earth is coming from the earth element, right? The lowest Muladhara.
Muladhara.
Sorry, yeah, that can be not come into my mind right away. So Muladhara chakra is the forgiveness chakra actually. So why forgiveness? Because it's coming from the earth element. And the earth is the most forgiving thing in the universe. Most forgiving. No matter what you do, it still is supporting you. It doesn't hurt you anymore. But we are the ones who are hurting the earth the most these days. Um, anyway, so that also, and when you say love and compassion also is increased by meditation, gratitude meditation, how that happens, which means love and compassion is anahat chakra now, right? So one chakra getting activated, the gratitude chakra only, or the Manipura chakra getting activated, also activates the one above it and two below it. This is the beauty of that gratitude chakra. So I'll just share with you. This is anterior insular and the posterior insular. This particular purple colored place. Insula is the place for compassion and bliss center, the bliss feeling, the blissful feeling, most blissful. This is the chakra which gets the most activation in deep meditation. In deep meditation means like extended, the 14-16 hour type of deal, heavy duty one. So this is the cognitive restructuring, this particular area, anterior cingulate cortex, right? It is a cognitive restructuring and evoke possibility thinking. This gets activated. This particular ventromedial prefrontal cortex reduces fear, anxiety by regulating stress hormones. This particular thing increases dopamine. This is the midbrain area, and this is the bliss center. And this is our brain on gratitude. Can you believe that? This is, there is so much to learn about gratitude. Is unbelievable. And these are the things that are coming up recently in science. And I'm so fortunate that I can understand this by God's grace. Now let's do the breathing component, right? So gratitude means thank you, just saying thank you. But if you link the gratitude to breathing, then the power is exponential. This is the beauty of it. So this is the one which I was telling you. When you do the breathing, this is the place for medulla, and this is the pons, right? These are the area. When you do the Ujjayi breathing, you constrict your throat a little bit. So what happens here, how many people know Bernoulli's principle? The pressure and the velocity. The higher the velocity, the lower the pressure. So if you have this higher velocity breathing going on, the pressure, lower pressure happens here. So this particular area gets sensitized a little bit. It moves a little bit up and down. As a result of which, it activates the centers over here in medulla and pons. So I'll share with you, these are the certain areas in the pons, and this is medulla and this is the pons area. And you can see that these are the regions which are getting activated. Temperature control, water balance, urinary balance, respiratory, blood pressure, all. These are some centers. But the ones which they control eventually is even more exciting. So this is the area of your pons and medulla. And they have this pneumatic, pneumotaxic center, pneumatic, I'm saying. Ventral respiratory groups, these are the receptors. And then there are chemoreceptors, and there are dorsal receptors. So these are 5 receptors right there, right? And apneustic center and pneumotaxic centers. These are the 5 receptor types. Now, which breath activates? Now, breath activates, actually these receptors are activated by the bicarbonate ions in our blood, but it requires little mechanical activation, and that is done by the Ujjayi breathing. And this is exactly what I was saying. Now, if you do Khechari Mudra and then do the Khechari Mudra, which means you can stick your tongue in your at your epiglottis over here, right? That time this will become this particular, that the thing hanging on your epiglottis, this will come here, and then you breathe in, it will much you can also activate it by mechanical process also. So this is exactly what this, there are different chakras which regulate the pranas. The pranas, apana, vyana, samana, this is only one entire cluster, and it is regulated by these guys, this cluster. So basically, this is the Agya chakra. The entire process is there are small nuclei in there. These constitute the Agya chakra. Why Agya chakra? Because Agya means obey my order, right? This is Agya. They control the body's physiology left and right. How do you control the body physiology now? Through proper breathing. If you do the right breathing, you can control the Agya chakra also. And that is exactly what I am saying here. The temperature control is done by the Vyana Vayu and Apana Vayu and Samana Vayu, eating control, water balance. Water balance is also kidney. It works on kidney also, because kidney is which regulates the ionic system also, right? Ionic balance. Manipura chakra, eating control is Manipura chakra. And Swadhisthana chakra is urinary urinary control is Apanat, and secondary respiratory control is done by the Vishuddhi chakra, which is the Pran Vayu. And the Vyan Vayu is done by and the blood pressure and other things are controlled by Anahat Chakra, which is Vyan Vayu. So all this chakra getting activation, but just by gratitude. I mean, amazing. And if you breathe, if you do the breathing additional, what else you want? You got all the entire brain activation, the prefrontal cortex and the entire cortex, plus all the functions. And that is exactly what we call as the prana vayu. How does that prana vayu work? So breathing is just one. How that become panch vayu? It is through the 5 receptor types. Remember that those 5 receptor types are breath remaining the same. The 5 receptor types control all these things all over the brain. This is just a very simple diagrammatic manifestation of what I am talking. But from here, it goes all the way here and it goes all over the body. So from the brain, from your medulla oblongata, and pons, these receptors get activated. Which receptors? These pranvayu receptors. And then pranvayu, the breath remaining the same, receptor have different signal transduction mechanisms, right? Different signal, because they are connected to different cellular machinery, or different neuronal machinery, which will activate specific regions in the brain, depending on what receptor getting activated. So if we have a left nostril, that's why they insist on the fact that we should have both the nostril clear, right? So if your right nostril is not functioning properly, you are basically affecting the left activation in some way. And if your only right nostril is functioning better, then you are affecting the left brain. So these are the different, that's why they call it Nadi Shuddhi is so critical before you do any pranayam, to make sure that both the nostrils are very clean and open, then only you do the work. And of course, the respiratory center, these are the pancha pranas is nothing but 5 different physiological functions in our system, right? This is pancha prana. So Hanumanji is basically our breath, right? Hanumanji is our breath, and then then they become Panchamukhi Hanumanji. And what is Panchamukhi Hanumanji doing? It is regulating Panch Pranas. And what are the Panch Pranas? These are the respiratory centers, circulatory centers, neuroimmune control centers, and excretory and the digestive. These are the different these physiological processes that are getting affected by breath alone. And if you add gratitude to it, that is unbelievable. That you are in bliss. You're activating the bliss deeper than simply just by breathing alone. So that is my gift, the gift that my dad gave to me to be shared to the universe. So that's exactly what, when you say Nase Roga Hare Sab Pira Japati Nirantar Hanumat Pira. How does that happen? Nase Roga Hare Sab Pira. Now, have you seen most of the diseases that we are experiencing in our life is of this nature only, nothing more than that, right? So if you activate, if these are doing well, then that's how the Nase Rog Hare Sab Pira will happen in Hanuman Chalisa, that is there. Japat Nirantar Hanumat Pira. Japat Nirantar Hanumat Pira means if you are constantly aware of your breath, inhalation and hold, exhalation, hold, inhalation, hold, exhalation, hold. And in during the doing that, if you chant Hanuman Chalisa that way, that is even better. Doesn't matter. If you don't know Hanuman Chalisa, that's no big deal. If you can just say thank you, thank, hold, you, hold. Just now, just doing that makes you aware of the breath constantly. And in the awareness, all these chakras get, all these physiological function get activated. Now the meditative component, peep into the consciousness space in deep meditation. Now you see this particular chakra is the actual gratitude fulfillment center, this particular chakra, right? So, and we know that it automatically activates the forgiveness. So if this chakra is get activating, if this chakra, do you think if this will not get activated? Yes, let go also gets activated. So let go is what? This is the water element. Remember the water element, the water control center in the brain gets activated just by gratitude alone and the breathing alone. So this is exactly what is happening. And love center, as we saw the insular cortex getting those bold signal, left insular cortex getting the bold, right insular cortex getting the bold signal. Why? Because this particular center is connected to that insular cortex. So right away it will get activated. Same thing is communication center. Have you seen people when they communicate, there is so much clarity in their content and explanation. They are not using bombastic words, but they are simply putting in thing and just it gets through. So that clarity is coming from communication center as well as in the Agya Chakra. And then this particular one, that was my biggest un, desire. And chapter 9 you will understand how that desire also got desire. When the desire to be there got out of my life, something happened. So I'm not going to share with you that. Anyway, the yogic neuroscience understanding of gratitude plus rhythmic breathing is all about transformation. It has everything to do with our human transformation and our human evolution. The more we get transformed, the more the new century or the new yuga will have better humanity. So this is what will happen. So I am going to share with you what that peeping into the thing was. So when you sit down for meditation, for extended meditation, I'm saying initially this is the complaint of every human being. When I sit in meditation, my mind wanders everywhere. I mean, it is better to be busy rather than doing meditation, because in doing something out there, getting busy doing stuff, I don't have to worry about thinking. But when I sit quietly, I keep getting worried about thinking, and all the thoughts come and then they destroy my peace. In you talk about 4 hours, I can't sit 4 seconds. 4 minutes is million years, as if. That is good. Actually, what is happening is when the mind wanders and the thought begin to stray in the beginning of the meditation, the posterior cingulate cortex, the precuneus, and the posterior inferior parietal cortex, lateral inferior, temporal, caudal, medial, all get activated. Actually, that is the basis of, that is to get the brain hyped up. It is a natural mechanism. It is a very helpful mechanism for you to focus on meditation eventually. This is exactly what happens. The whole brain gets lit up. The fMRI. Now, this particular study was done by a scientist who went to Tibet and during the Dalai Lama time, and he had come back and he did some work in Wisconsin. There is a entire center in Wisconsin medicine where they have University of Wisconsin, where they have these heavy duty meditators from, and this fellow has a 40-year experience in meditation, 40 years of deep meditation. And this is what the brain mapping and everything is coming from that study. So then what happens is this awareness of distraction, that you are aware of that, the fact that you are distracted, right? Because of the million thought coming in. This awareness of distraction is picked up by the salient network. Salience network is that particular network, like in insular net. What is salience network? Salient network is like, for instance, if you're trying to walk, the cars are going all over every time, right? From on the street. But if you want to cross the street, your focus suddenly becomes the cars. I say, okay, let me check whether the cars, because it is life affirmative. So the moment you are aware of the distraction, this life affirmative or the meditation affirmative network gets activated, and this is insular and anterior cingulate cortex. This is the one which is the bliss center. This gets activated because of this, because the mind wandered, because your intention for bliss was there initially, right? Now you're going to sit there and the mind is wandering. You are not getting excited about that. But it triggered the process. It triggered what? The salience network, which is insula and anterior cingulate cortex. This particular thing and this particular thing gets activated. Now posterior cingulate cortex is not getting activated. It shuts off because this triggered this and this, both. Now what with that, now this is shifting in gears after some time. The dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, this is this portion, and the inferior parietal cortex are the areas that help in disengaging attention from the distracting thoughts and help refocus on rhythmic breathing. You understand how beautiful this beautiful brain, our brain is so beautiful. Thank your brain, please do thank. It is so beautiful. From this particular thing, wandering mind, the awareness of distraction is picked up by this guy, salience network, which can transfer this whole thing. I said, no way, man, you have to rhythmic breathing, focus on your breathing, go back to breathing. So the moment you keep going back to your breathing, even though thoughts are distracting, that's good. So gradually what will happen is this will dorsolateral prefrontal cortex help sustain the focus on the rhythmic breathing. This particular one. Even this is shut off now after some time. So you see the whole brain is fired up, gradually getting to lower firing up and then lesser and even lesser. And now, and after that, if you sit longer, you will see that the focus on rhythmic breathing is also transcended during extended deep meditation, and you are into the consciousness space, you're peeping into that zone, your true nature, the essential true nature. And this is exactly what happens. The brain activity goes gradually down. No turbulence period. The lake is so quiet and silent that you can see the moon as clear as if it is moon. In fact, you become the moon. This is the study coming from these contributors. So I have to acknowledge them. So basically what is happening? When you are basically in the first state, when your mind is totally distracted at the time when you're sitting quietly and it's a million thoughts are coming, this is it. What is happening is it is a 3D state of consciousness, right? 3-dimensional, where the ego, your whole idea, you are attached to your ego, which is basically a phantom identity, which is not true. And this is what causes separateness, fear, and unhealing, right? No heal. And that is the real cause of limited feeling, where struggle exists. Every thought causes you to struggle. Even sitting causes struggle, and competition is there. You are attached to the material and the physical, and right now your brain is activated to a point where you just do logical and linear thinking. Actually, logical and linear thinking is self-destructive. Actually, it is good for computer programming, but for our brain, this is logical deterministic thinking is not very healthy. Non-authentic, you become very non-authentic. You are mostly hypocrite. uh, Non-aligned, dualistic. Dualistic means hypocrisy. Actually, you are projecting what you are not. That is dualism. So that is what you feel trapped all the time. Now that in the two different stage when the insular cortex and anterior cingulate cortex is activated, that time you have that integrative phase, aligning phase. You suddenly feel now this particular one is little aligning to this guy. This particular stage is aligning to this guy, and this particular stage is aligning to the other one. This is aligning to this guy. So you over here you get egoless, unlimited feeling, authentic. You feel inspired, driven, purpose driven, compassionate, intuitive, divine, liberated, healed, loved. All this happens right away. And that's why when you come back from the deepmost meditation state, your system is bathed with those neurochemicals which will sustain this for a long period of time, no matter what you're doing after that. Somebody said, what if I experience that bliss? Oh, then what happens? I said, you chop wood and fetch water from the well. And before and after that, also do the same thing. You chop wood and fetch water from the well. So basically, the task will be is not going to be changing. The work that you'll experience in the universe will be the same. You will feel the same. Uh, Boss will harass you. That won't go. That will, but it won't work. दुख है लेकिन दुख ही नहीं है, ऐसा हो जाएगा. दुख बहुत है दुनिया में, but you will not be dukhi. This is the beauty. So we cannot really understand the true meaning of gratitude without first appreciating grace, or the 5D state of consciousness. That grace is the 5D state of consciousness, where you feel without my doing anything, all I'm doing is sitting quietly, and His grace is showering upon me. Grace is undeserved favor. That is the real gratitude, actually. When you feel that, what did I do to deserve all this? I didn't do anything, because you are trying to equate the cause and effect situation from the world's perspective. You do such and such for 8 hours of work, you will get this much pay. But for the thing that I'm being given, the breath I'm given, I've been given free breath. What did I do to deserve it? That the moment that happens, that is grace. Grace means ahaituki krupa. For no apparent reason, I've been given so much. I am so thankful. I can't even say thank you enough. So I need a couple of lifetime to say thank you. And grace is not earned. It is something that is given to us freely. Ahobhav, that is what they call. Gratitude is the most beautiful flower that arises from our inner core. Inner core, what is the inner core? Manipura chakra, actually. That is the first center which gets developed as we were developing in our mother womb, as the first embryo. That is the first center gets developed. The Ahobhav. Slowly the buds open. Imagine that Manipura chakra having flowers coming up and opening, and soon it will become wings to form fragrance. Fragrance is the love. The whole life will become fragrant. The entire being is filled with love. That is the fragrant of that Manipura chakra. Anhat chakra is the where the love gets manifested, but it is a Manipura chakra which is the real deal. And the once that happen, the million flowers shall bloom. What is the million flower? It is a Sahasra chakra. And when even one flower blooms because of your blooming, know well the spring has come. When one flower blooms, because one flower means if your Manipura chakra blooms, the entire system blooms, and know the spring has come. How many people like to have more spring? Thank you so much. This is the book I was talking to you about. If somebody has not bought the book, I strongly recommend that they will get something more than the talk that I had gave just now. So if you have a camera, your cell phone, you can just scan this QR code, and that leads you to the site which gets you that book. And if somebody who has the book and have read little, that is very good. Read just little by little. Just 2 pages, 3 pages a day is good enough. But that is how the reading will be very effective. And thank you so much. And with immense gratitude, I cannot express my thanks to everybody around here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shekharji, Dr. Mayanil. You're like a blessing for us to have you here for today's session as well. आणि आपल्याकडे खूप चांगले चांगले प्रश्न आहेत. आय एम शुअर प्रत्येकाला तुम्हाला कॉम्प्लिमेंट द्यायचे आहे, थँक्स म्हणायचं आहे फॉर दिस सेशन. आपल्याकडे थोडं टाइम क्रंच असल्यामुळे देर आर कपल ऑफ गुड क्वेश्चन्स विच वी आर गोइंग टू टेक. तर एक कोणीतरी आपल्या ग्रुपवर डॉक्टर म्हणून आहेत, आय डोंट नो व्हॉट द नेम इज, म्हणजे त्यांनी नेम मेन्शन नाही केलाय, but he or she has been asking, is there any proof that brain frying causes all the diseases that you have shown in your slides?
Brain frying causes real diseases. It shows slightly. It's not like suddenly you have the frying going on. It's not that you cook a you put an egg into the frying pan. It's not like that. It gradually starts. The frying is manifested in the form of neurodegenerative disorders, brain fog, Parkinson disease, and all those depression. This is brain frying mechanism, basically.
Yes, but just to add towards what you were saying, so somebody was asking ki to ek proof ahe ka?
Oh,
That because, of course, your research is there, and if
yes, yes,
they
proof is
can
there.
contact you directly.
So I just clubbed the entire thing in one slide, but to get that one slide, I have consulted at least 500 papers, published
Yeah,
papers.
exactly.
Yes.
And just if somebody wants a quick reference, just like a quick reference, so this is the book they can basically.
Yes.
This is called as the mind
Can
and
you
gut
can you take off your
ठीक है ना मी ते माझं हे बंद करते so we can see
hair
the एक second.
blurring, if you get it out, then you will have that.
So if you can see, this is called the mind gut connection, and this is actually the reference books for a lot of nutrition programs and clinical herbalism programs as well. So this is an excellent book, and this shows a lot of proof. This is written by the medical doctor.
So the vagus nerve also is very important in getting all that. Manipura chakra is the basic brain behind all our brain. The brain behind the brain is Manipura chakra actually, and from that activation of basically vagus nerve is what causes reversal of brain frying actually. If somebody is experiencing any of these neurodegenerative challenges, just suppose, I'm not saying that they are, if there is an immediate quick process of reversal. First of all, using the right kind of a diet that Alka was talking about. Right diet, very, very important. Why right diet? Because digested food reacts with the bacteria in our gut, which produces neurotransmitters, specific neurotransmitters, with the same neurotransmitter that exists in the brain. But these neurotransmitters in the gut activate the vagus nerve endings. The efferent is coming from brain all the way, but the only vagus nerve is bidirectional in activation. So the bidirectional activation means now the afferent nerve will go and get the signal all the way into those areas of the brain which has the specific receptor types to activate those regions. So that's why it is very important to have the correct diet. And because, say for instance, arginine is an amino acid coming from a protein, right? So that arginine reacts with the receptor the receptor system producing nitric oxide, and that nitric oxide becomes the neurotransmitter, and that neurotransmitter attaches to neurotransmitter receptors there, activates the whole vagus nerve. So somatostatin is there, vasopressin is there, so many neurotransmitters are there which are also produced in the brain, but brain does not say gut is the brain without the logic to it, so that's why it is more effective. It does not screen out the effect.
Thank you, Shekharji. So next one actually is by Priyamashi Shilotri. If you can show us a correct way of doing Ujjaini Pranayam quickly.
Okay. Now, if you have a just imagine a mirror. You get your glasses out. That is better. Just fog the thing. Right? This is what you did. So what type? So you are doing the exhalation through this, right? You felt that it is coming from the throat, right? So now you close your mouth. Now you do the same thing through inhalation. Is the same reason. That way. So you just first of all practice with exhalation, and then you close your mouth and you know exactly which area was put under pressure when you are exhaling. Pay attention in this area when you're doing exhalation. Right? And now you close your mouth and you inhale from the same area. This is it.
So
when
both exhale and inhale from the same area?
yes,
Or
yes, yes, yes.
okay.
Both inhale and exhale from the area. Now,
So
if,
it should
if
make that sound too,
yeah,
right?
it should make that sound, right? Correct, correct. That sound is very important. Now, when you do that sound, that is activating the medulla and the pons area actually, because it is constricted. Because you are basically uh, constricting the pipe of the air breath going in. So it has a higher velocity when it comes at the level of medulla oblongata. Higher velocity and less pressure. So less pressure, high velocity, which means the medulla oblongata area in that particular throat area will have little bit perturbation, mechanical perturbation, which will activate those areas. So this is what it is about. Yeah.
आता पुढचा प्रश्न आपल्या सबनीस काकांचा आहे. सो सबनीस काका, यू डिडंट रिअली हॅव टू टाईप, तुम्ही विचारू शकला असतात डायरेक्ट. परंतु त्यांनी विचारले की is there any instrument that measures your inhale time and exhale time?
No, you yourself are the best instrument. You know that when you stop it, when you inhale, first
No,
of all, exhale. First,
when you're aware of it, that's different thing. But let's say I'm sleeping and then I want to know what
body
my
will take care of itself. That is your body's mechanism. That is involuntary zone. That is the involuntary mechanism that goes on. You don't need to worry about that. It takes care of itself.
दादा मेरे एप्पल वॉच में तो आ जाता है. माय एप्पल वॉच मेजर्स माय ब्रीदिंग रेट एवरी इवन व्हेन आई एम अस्लीप. वो मेरे को आ जाता है सुबह.
But does the breathing rate, does it say what is the inhale and how much is the inhale and how much is the exhale?
वो नहीं बताते.
Exactly. Yeah, so
if
just to extend this thing, कि आता काकानी तो post पण पेले. So this is actually a treat again today. After Dr. Mayanil's session, there is Dr. Prakash Lothe's sessions, which is going to be another extension to this topic. And he is a medical doctor, we all know.
Wow.
There is the prescription for health and happiness is the book written by him. And he's a very, very knowledgeable practitioner. So please do attend that session. It's going to be at Sri Yoga at 8 p.m. And the link is posted here. And if anybody needs another or the information about the session, you can post it on the group if you're not a part of Sri Yoga group. तिकडे सबनीस काका तिथे टाकतील तो ती इन्फॉर्मेशन पण टाकतील. आणि त्याच्यानंतर आय थिंक डॉक्टर विक्रम पत्तरकिणेंनी पण सांगितलंय फॉर डायट प्युरिफिकेशन त्यांचा एक ग्रुप आहे. आणि अजित नातूंनी विचारलंय की हाऊ टू डू शांभवी महामुद्रा.
Oh, it's easy. Shambhavi Mahamudra is when you put your attention between your eyebrows. So how do you put attention at your eyebrow right here? Now, for mothers and women folks in our audience, it is much easier because they wear bindi here. Bindi was not for cosmetic reasons in our culture. It was because during those days there were multiple families staying in the home, right? And women had to do a lot of work, less appreciated, but they did a tremendous amount of work. They did work of 5 people per person. That is the kind of job they did. So in order for them to have that, you can get flustered and overwhelmed immediately with that type of a family, big multiple joint family, and everybody's this and talking about this, the need of that, the kids are running around, all that. So you need that focus. So that particular, when you put the bindi here, that little bit awareness, heavy awareness always exists. And the same awareness for men is also aware when they wear the chandan tika. Chandan tika, when it dries, it creates that crispiness. So that crispiness is always, that awareness always goes there. So when you do the Shambhavi Mahamudra, you basically, I mean, you can close your eyes or you can open your eyes, whichever work. Just I'll just demonstrate just with open eyes. You twist your eyeball to the point where you see the white thing on the top. That's Shambhavi. Now you don't have to open your eyes all the time, but you can close your eyes and you can just be aware, not focus. I'm sorry to say that focus is the wrong word I have used in the seminar, in the topic here, but I would say be aware. That's it. Just being aware of this area, which is the prefrontal cortex area. Just if you pierce a hole here, it'll go into the same prefrontal cortex, right? So not here, it is here actually. So between the eyebrows, you put your bindi, where you mothers put bindi and women folks put bindi. This is the region where you can experience the Shambhavi Mahamudra benefits.
अजितजी, तुम्हाला काही प्रश्न आहे का याच्याशी रिलेटेड अजून? कारण आय थिंक युअर्स वॉज अ लास्ट क्वेश्चन, आणि देन ओव्हर टू यू सायली आणि अनघाते.
करू का आपण?
मला एक पटकन प्रश्न आहे, मी विचारू का?
हो, बोला ना.
विचारा ना.
हा, माझं नाव अंजली, कनेक्टिकटहून आहे. मला प्रश्न हा आहे की तुम्ही जो आता कुठला तो श्वास सांगितला, व्हॉटएव्हर द उज्जयी ब्रीदिंग, मी जर का तसं केलं आणि मला जर का असा संशय येतो कधी कधी की मी कानाने श्वास घेते, इज दॅट पॉसिबल?
I don't think so.
Okay.
You actually,
नाही, म्हणजे मला फक्त एकच हवंय की इज दॅट पॉसिबल फिजिकली?
It is quite possible physically because the ear is connected to the eustachian tube and it's connected up here. So there is a connection. There is not that it is not connected, but yeah, it is connected actually. And if your eustachian tube is very clear, you can always, some air will go through that also.
करेक्ट. कारण मी नेहमी हे करते, नेती करते, आणि मला असा संशय आहे की कधी कधी माझा श्वास, मला असं वाटतं,
little bit air goes because the passage is very clear. That's the good thing that you're doing neti. Neti, all those people who do neti, especially this one, their entire pathway is very clean. They get more mileage out of lot of, like, it is almost,
So I just was curious and I just wanted to
little bit, but not all the time. Yeah, little bit it goes. Major 90%, 95% comes from your nose or mouth if you are doing that.
Correct. Okay.
This is connected.
One quick comment about it. It's called ocean breathing. If you are hearing a sound like ocean, then that is you are doing Ujjayi properly.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks.
And is it supposed to be even on both sides of your throat, or sometimes I feel like it's more on my right side when I do that sound, and like Anjali said, it goes towards your little bit towards your ears too. But is it supposed to be like evenly in the center, or
actually when you doing this ocean breathing, the thing, it is basically the entire cranium. The sound comes from, you don't know where the sound is coming from. It is coming from the entire cranium, including the left ear, right ear, everywhere. It's, you can't really nail down where the sound is coming from. It is coming from the entire, and it is just wonderful.
Okay. Yeah.